Greetings, the dialogue here, body language reading of Jim Morrison's father, his relationship with Jim Morrison, just to see if I pick up anything interesting about him or what I do pick up about him. Thanks to the Patreon viewer and Patreon subscriber who gave this to me to read.
Well, Jim was a very intelligent, bright young man and behaved himself pretty well, really.
Okay, so far we've got large eyes from the dad, and he's looking up. He's searching his memory for Jim Morrison, and pretty congruent.
And he liked to write and draw pictures.
He was,
As you can see, the little head nods. Absolutely.
an avid reader. He read everything, and then he also wrote. He would write he had a book, and this was in high school, he would learn a new word, and then he'd write a whole story around it. So his vocabulary was incredible.
He liked all the classics and read everything he could get his hands on. And he was always delighted to go to his
So what I can see from the father is that he's a very conservative kind of person. He's not your demonstrative person who wears his heart on his sleeve. This guy plays his cards close to his chest, so it's hard to really decipher what he's really thinking about his son.
grandmother's house because she had a library.
One time he just got up out of class and told his teacher he was going to have a brain tumor removed, and he just walked out of class to go read. Most kids want a car.
So you can see that the sister, she's quite enamored of her own brother, of his intelligence and his vocabulary, obviously, and his cheekiness.
The life that I lived as a naval officer required you to have a period ashore and a period at sea, which meant that probably half the time I was gone. I tried to make him feel like he was the head of the household, and
So that's significant. So he had to be the head of the household while the father was overseas. So that would have played a role in his ability to actually be a rock star, to take leadership.
he went on all the ships that I served in. It was clear that while he had some admiration for the Navy and the fact that I was in it, but he didn't have any interest in it himself.
And you can see that his demeanour right here is not one of, I'm fascinated by this. He's got scoured, eyebrows, hand in pocket.
I thought he would have success because he was smart and creative and could write well. We were delighted he went to college. He started it out in Florida. I wanted to get him to go to graduate school. We had read, of course, about the film school at UCLA, and I was looking forward to his graduating and going into Hollywood.
So it's interesting. So this father knew he was going into Hollywood anyway. And UCLA is quite a prestigious university. So yes, the parents are quite happy with him.
I just thought he would be a beatnik and be poor all his life. I even spent one whole night crying about it, worrying that no one was going to ever realize his talent, because I knew he wouldn't compromise and become a plumber, or I knew he wasn't going to just do anything.
Nothing against plumbers, mind you.
When he ended up in rock music, I was absolutely flabbergasted.
That's congruent. So his head went backwards and forwards. And large eyes, by the way.
Well, he called me on the phone and said he was going on the road with a rock band. And
So that's of one of bewilderment. So we've got it's not a jaw up, but it was sort of like an eek moment. And it was a stretching of the mouth just before. Let's have a look at that again.
he flabbergasted. Well, he called me on the phone and said he was going on the road with a rock band.
Rock band, and he's pulling back here, tensing his jaw. So he's a little bit tense about that.
And
And perplexed.
took me a little bit to gathering what he was really saying, but then, sure enough, that's what it was. Well, that's ridiculous. That you're not a singer, you can't sing.
Yeah, as a parent, we should never tell our kids that they can't sing, because look at Jimmy. Same with John Denver.
And I told him he was really, I said, you are on the wrong track here. Get yourself a job.
Get yourself a job. Little head shake there, maybe because he's remembering how successful he was as a rock star.
That to me was not a job.
So that's a genuine smile. Okay, so he's not making that up. Although he's got a little bit of contempt with the fact that he said that that is not a job. So actually it's congruent.
I don't know when I was aware that he was in a band. I think it all happened rather quickly.
Okay, they've got a little rock band there, and they're making some headway, that's fine. But when he turned up on the national TV, why, I was amazed.
Now, this is the first time I see a little bit of sadness coming in. So he's got downturned lips, which speaks to me of sadness. And he's got sort of coming up the eyebrows which come together up here, which tells me sadness. And the reason why I guess I'm saying this is because he didn't have much of a relationship with his son, because the son's busy getting famous and this guy didn't even know about it. He saw it on television. So therefore I think, from what I can see in him and his conservative ways, that there is a relationship breakdown, or was.
I didn't have any idea of the talent he had as an entertainer. I still feel that his talent was not vocal.
And that's interesting. So he did a big ahem. That's a way of him saying, I'm nervous when I say this. I'm not completely wanting to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. And that's congruent. He does think he shouldn't. His talent was not in vocals,
As in the classic term, but that he was an entertainer.
He did say a couple
congruent.
times that he thought that the audience deserved a spectacle.
We never had the occasion to see them. They were never in the same area.
My dad never stopped to listen. They really never stopped to listen to the music. They more just read about it and heard about it.
So therefore that's the relationship breakdown.
And they didn't really know very much about what he was actually doing.
I haven't even heard the lyrics. I've heard the titles like Light My Fire. That's about it. And what it goes on after that, I couldn't tell you. I'm afraid I'm a very poor interpreter of his talent.
And a big hard swallow at the end. And he's been congruent, but holding back a little bit there.
Attaché at the embassy in Paris sent me a message and said that Jim had died.
And when he pulled back his mouth there, it's a sign of regret.
Of a heart attack in a Paris hospital.
So that's pretty congruent.
Losing him was awful. It was just awful. And it took me a long, long time to get over it.
I was impressed with the fact that here is my son being interred really quite honorably into the great cemetery in Paris, and as you realize how well known and how well liked he was.
So obviously he warmed up in the second part of this interview, and that's very congruent. So he's just saying he was well regarded.
He went his own way, and he was true to his own ambition.
Okay, let's have a look at that again.
He went his own way, and he was true to his own ambition.
Okay, so you saw him do a little lick across the lips, and that tells me that he was displeased quite a lot. Not a good thing when you see this lick from one side to the other. It means that he is holding back, this guy is holding back his true feelings on the fact that he became a massive pop star, rock star.
His own aspirations.
And did his own aspirations, and obviously had other aspirations for Jim Morrison.
And that was his goal in life, and he made it.
And that's regret and sadness. That's a very sad face. So there is a degree of sadness and human emotions with his son here. So there you go. This is my analysis of Jim Morrison and his father and his sister. His sister is quite lovely, and she does feel a lot for him. The father obviously feels something for Jim Morrison. I guess there's a sense of regret that there was that rift between them two. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. This is The Dialogue. Please like and subscribe and ding my bell. Tap that bell, people. Check out my Patreon page. Thanks for the Patreon who requested this video. Thanks.